Pastafrola de Nutella is a chocolate lover's dream. This Argentine dessert has a chocolate crust and a Nutella filling, so it's sure to satisfy any chocolate craving. If you're looking for Nutella dessert recipe ideas, keep watching. The type of crust used to make this Nutella pastafrola is called masa frola because it's used to make not only pastafrola but also many other Argentine desserts. It's a short crust pastry that's lemony, buttery, soft, and crumbly, and best of all, you don't have to roll it out if you don't want to. This short crust pastry comes in both original and chocolate versions, and I already have recipe videos for each. I will put a link in the description box to the crust recipes. However, I'm going to start this Nutella pastafrola recipe video assuming that you have already made the dough and that you've taken about half of it and pressed it into a 9-inch pie plate. After that, this Nutella tart is super easy. So the bottom crust is done. I used about half of the dough, and even though there is already lemon zest and lemon extract in the dough, I had some leftover lemon zest, so I sprinkled that in. Not only is it pretty, at least for the time being, it's going to give a little bit of extra lemon flavor. So now I'm going to put in the filling for this Nutella pie. So this type of pastafrola, like a pastafrola with dulce de leche, it's a lot easier than with dulce de membrillo or dulce de batata. All I have to do is literally just pour in the Nutella. So I use 500 grams, one full jar, and a little more than a third of the other. Nutella is sticky, so I would recommend having more than one utensil. Do this one to scoop out of the jar, and another to scrape the scoop. Also, while you're doing this, it's a good idea to put your leftover dough back into the refrigerator or maybe even the freezer if it's getting really soft, because if it's cold it will be easier to make the lattice. Once the Nutella is in, smooth it out. So the Nutella is in the pie and the pastafrola, and I smoothed it out. The next step is to make the lattice top. Now, what you could do with the leftover dough is you could take some in your hand and just roll it into long, thin cylinders like that and just put it onto the pie. But I'm actually going to roll them out. So what I have here is I have 2 pieces of wax paper. On the bottom one I have a mixture of half cocoa powder, half flour. Like I explained in my chocolate pie crust video, it's important to add some cocoa powder to the flour when rolling out your pie crust. If you only use flour, then the flour that doesn't get incorporated into the dough during the rolling out process is going to stick out like a stain when the pastafrola is done. That's why I recommend using a mixture of half unsweetened cocoa powder and half flour if you choose to roll out the dough. Nutella actually has a very interesting history. In the early 1800s, France, under the leadership of Napoleon Bonaparte, was at war with the British. The British blockaded European ports under French control, which came to include most of Italy. There was a lack of goods such as cocoa, so bakers and chocolatiers had to improvise with what they had on hand. In 1806, chocolatier Michel Prochet in the Italian city of Turin stretched the little chocolate he had by adding hazelnuts. The result was actually quite tasty, so having to improvise led to the creation of a paste called Gianduja. Although I'm not 100% certain, it seems like this paste was not spreadable like modern day Nutella. Instead, it was a solid block like dulce de membrillo or quince paste. However, the paste proved to be so delicious and so popular that now one of the specialties of the city of Turin is individually wrapped pieces of this paste known as Gianduiotto. I do not speak Italian at all, so if my pronunciation is off, please forgive me and please let me know in the comments section. However, modern-day Nutella was not created until the mid-20th century when once again Gianduja paste became very popular to deal with rationing associated with the Second World War. After the war, Pietro Ferrero's son, Michele Ferrero, altered the recipe to make it spreadable. And that is how modern-day Nutella was born. And as I'm sure you know, Nutella has become very popular worldwide. In fact, according to a mashed video entitled The Untold Truth of Nutella, a jar of Nutella is sold every 2.5 seconds. Actually, while researching the history of Nutella for this video, I discovered something. I realized that some versions of the individually wrapped candies, the Gianduiotti, have layers of different types of chocolate and hazelnut. These look very similar to a type of candy in Argentina known as Maroc, a type of candy that has layers of different types of chocolate mixed with peanut butter. Previously on this channel, I've shown how Italian culture has heavily influenced Argentine cuisine. In fact, according to the 1914 census, 25% of the people living in the city of Buenos Aires at that time were born in Italy. If you then consider their children and possibly grandchildren, that's a huge percentage of the population. Considering the large-scale immigration from Italy, especially from the Piedmont region where the city of Turin is located and Gianduja was invented, it just makes sense that Gianduja and Gianduiotti are the original parents of Maroc. Just like how the Italian crostata is the parent of the Argentine pastafrola. Besides making things that taste good, I also really like food history, so making connections like that is really fun for me. Once you're done with the lattice top, put your pastafrola into a 350-degree oven for 30 to 35 minutes. For more information about Argentine and Southern recipes, please visit my website, parnellthechef.com. Since the chocolate crust is a darker color than the normal pie crust, it's kind of hard to know when it's done. Instead of going by color, I recommend going by how dry it looks and just touching it very, very briefly. Once it looks dry and crumbly like the other pastafrolas, it's done. After my Nutella pastafrola had cooled completely, I was ready to dig in. This was basically a celebration of chocolate. The crust had a rich chocolate flavor that was chocolatey enough to be chocolate but not so dark that it was bitter. Although the crust had sugar, I honestly think that what made it really bright was the lemon. Just like with my red velvet cake in which I combine chocolate and orange, Argentines really like to combine citrus such as lemon with chocolate. The crust was a perfect carrier for the Nutella filling. The contrast in types of chocolate and also textures, making this an incredible experience. Like I've said in previous videos, what makes a pastafrola so good and so unique is not only the flavor, but also the combination of textures. The filling is thick yet smooth, and the crust is soft and crumbly. Although I have used the regular crust to make a Nutella pastafrola, I honestly can't tell you which I prefer because so much time had passed since I made my first Nutella pastafrola with the original crust. Although my gut reaction is to tell you that it's better with the chocolate crust, I'm not sure if that's because it actually is better or because I really don't use chocolate crust that much, so just the fact that I'm using something different makes it stand out. Like I showed in my previous video in which I made the chocolate crust, in Argentina, people use this chocolate pastafrola dough to make dulce de leche pastafrola and also sweet potato pastafrola, so I'll have to make those on the channel at some point. However, for the time being, this Pastafrola series within my larger Argentine dessert series is coming to a close. I will be making pastafrola again in the future, but for right now, we have to move on to other types of pies and cakes. But like I said, this Nutella pastafrola was a celebration of chocolate, so if you have a chocolate craving that you don't think anything could possibly satisfy, this will do it. However, this Nutella tart is definitely rich, so 1 or 2 pieces for most people is probably going to be enough. In fact, I would recommend a strong cup of coffee or a glass of mineral water to help cut the sweetness while you enjoy your piece. Could you put ice cream on this? I definitely think you could, but part of me says it would probably be like gilding a lily. Totally unnecessary. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also, for more information about Argentine and Southern recipes, please visit my website, parnellthechef.com. And don't forget to follow me on social media. In fact, right now I'm very active on Twitter and I just surpassed 4,000 followers. So if you follow me there, thank you very much. And if you don't, please be sure to follow me there as well. I always like to see photos when my followers make my recipes, so if you make one of my recipes, please take a photo and let me know. Once again, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!